Hi, this is Brian from On the Fin Side and FinFanatic.com with a special exclusive interview with the one and only Miami Dolphins starting running back, Ronnie Brown. This interview is brought to you by Vizio's 7-inch edge lit razor LED portable TV. The Vizio 7-inch portable TV is the perfect item to take on the road. Why? Simple. You can watch television and you don't need a subscription because it picks up all local ATSC and NTSC signals. You can hook up your game consoles to it, which means while you're on the road, you can play your PS3 and your Xbox 360 and whatever else hooks into your television. It also doubles as a digital photo frame, so while you're out on the road, get your family's pictures in there, put it up on the side of your dresser or your nightstand while you're in that hotel, and stay a little bit closer to home. This will allow you to get all of the latest news and your favorite programs from just about anywhere. The Vizio 7-inch edge-lit Razor LED portable TV. Got to get one. And don't take it from me. Take it from Ronnie Brown.
All right. I mean, the biggest part is, you're able to take it on the road with you and obviously keep up with all the latest news and what's going on in, sports and, able to do a lot of stuff with it. You can hook up the game to it if you play a lot of video games. So for me, I'm just able to, keep up with everything that's going on in the news and stuff.
Now, you mentioned video games. Now, are you one of those gamers that plays the online game stuff, or do you usually play offline?
I play a little bit online. I play the Call of Duty. I haven't played in a while since the season started too much. But.
So you could literally be playing the game of Call of Duty and not know that you're playing against Ronnie Brown from the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, that's very possible.
If you go in and you whoop up on the little 12-year-old sometimes. We all do it. I do it. I admit it.
Yeah, man, I'm playing competitive. Whoever's on there, I try to win.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't blame you at all. I want to ask you, we'll get back to, like I said, this interview is being brought to you by the Vizio 7-inch LED TV, and I think it's a pretty awesome product. I've been looking at it quite a bit. What made you decide that you were going to put your name, attach your name to this, other than what you just said about the product itself? You have it. I mean, I'm assuming it's got to be a pretty good quality for you to have your name with it.
Well, yeah, I just, you see the Vizio stuff and the quality of items that they make, and they put their name on it, and, you can depend on it. So, I feel like that was something that I could be affiliated with, something that I know they put so much into.
That's something I can agree with. I think the Vizio product, I know that my in-laws have some of their products in their house, so it's definitely a good product. I want to ask you about the Wildcat formation, if we can jump away from that for just a minute. Statistically, this isn't something that is as successful as it has been in the past. A lot of fans are asking, why do we keep running this scheme? Is it as successful as it that it was, or are we just not seeing what it's actually doing for us out there on the field?
Well, I think the biggest part about it is the expectations now. The first week we brought it out, everybody was expecting either touchdowns or big plays every time, and, that's not going to be the case. It's like any other set, and I'm sure, they've noticed that a lot of defenses have become familiar with it, and a lot of offenses are using it, to their benefit around the league. So, I mean, it's more common now, and a lot more people see it. So, I mean, the expectations are for everyone, or I guess from a fan's view, is, they expect to see a big play or something. But in reality, it's just one of those formations that we try to get into and, have a positive play.
Yeah, Tony Sparano said that it's part of your identity as far as your offense goes. Now, do you think that when they bring that Wildcat out and they play that on the field, do you think that it breaks any of the continuity of the game? A lot of fans have made the comment that you guys look like you're in a great drive. You're running like crazy, big chunk yards, and then all of a sudden the Wildcat goes in and picks up maybe one or two. We get into a third down and long, and it just doesn't work out. Is that just the way the defense is playing it, or do you find it to be one of those things that kind of breaks the rhythm of the game going, or are you perfectly on board with that?
Well, I'm fine with it. It's like anything else. That unfortunately, that's one of our formations, and, when it doesn't work as well, a lot of people kind of get frustrated with it. But, that's like any other thing. Like when you're running, you're having a good drive going, and you have a few good plays in a row, and then, you put a play in or you call a play, not so much the Wildcat, just call any play, and it doesn't work, and then all the fans are kind of like, well, why did they call that right there? So, you can say that about any play when you're going through the process of a football game.
That's true. I'm sure you're well aware fans can be the biggest critic of all. The Dolphins traded for Brandon Marshall this offseason, and I wanted to ask you, in terms of your career with the Dolphins, this is the first time that you've actually had that big-time, legitimate number one wide receiver on the outside. What has Brandon Marshall done for you in the running game?
Well, I mean, he just opens it up. He gives us an opportunity to take another guy out of the box, whereas, in the past we've had to deal with the safety being close, and he can try to cheat up and, be closer to the action, whereas, now they have to respect his ability and, his presence out there on the corner. And, obviously, I think if we leave him in one-on-one situations, he's proven time after time that he's capable of making plays.
Now, I know that you've hurled the ball a couple times. Are you itching to throw a touchdown pass to Brandon Marshall?
Maybe. We're working on right now. We got to get our offense going, but, hopefully down the road, he and I can hook up for a sit-down.
Is it, you mentioned the offense, getting the offense going. So far it seems like the play calling's been kind of, I want to say, it seems like it's held back a little bit. You guys haven't opened it up as much. But then again, on the same side of that coin, you've been running fantastic, coming off of your foot injury from last year. Are you having any problems with that at all?
No, not really. I was able to come in and, put a lot of time in during the off season, and I was able to go through our off season program. So, with that in mind, the foot responded real well for me, and I was fortunate for that. But at the same time, I had to put a lot of time in the training room and, do all the necessary stuff, and all the trainers did a good job of trying to, get me going to make sure that I was ready when we started camp, and I was able to go through camp. And it was minimal soreness, and then, the season started, and I feel pretty good, and it's continued to, progress each week.
What do you think this team has to do? I mean, we're atop the AFC East. We've got a very strong division, probably one of the strongest in the NFL. What does this offense need to do to continue that pace and keep up with these teams in this league or in this division?
Well, I mean, we need to continue grinding like we do at practice each week, and everybody finds something to work on. But for the most part, we just need to be more efficient each week. Obviously we're not committing a whole lot of penalties on the offensive side of the ball, but at the same time, we do shoot ourselves in the foot. Like Ricky and myself, we had a couple turnovers last week. That's something that you can't do. That's real detrimental to your football team, as well as, some of the other things we may do, just allowing sacks or, recognition, and just everybody being on the same page. I think that's something that you can continue to work on, throughout the season, and hopefully we can get on that level real fast and, continue to progress and hopefully keep winning football games.
I wasn't going to bring up the fumble last week, but since you did, I'm going to ask you a question. Were you not the happiest guy on that field when Carlos Dansby made that tackle?
I was sitting there, and I'm sure they showed me on the sideline, and, I just hate putting my team and our organization in a situation like that, whereas, I feel like I'm trying to let the team down, because they depend on me enough to give me the football in that situation. And for me to, put us in a bad situation, that was tough on me. And, I was excited. The defense was playing real well. And, for them to get that stop, that was big. And obviously that's a relief as, you've made a mistake and, that defense is able to, not let the other side of the ball capitalize on it or not let the other team capitalize on it. So that was big. It was a stress reliever.
I honestly can't tell you what you look like on the sidelines. I think most fans probably did, and I think we were jumping up and down so much and yelling and screaming that we didn't get a chance to watch that replay. But I can tell you that when you did fumble, there wasn't anybody in the room that I was in saying, "Oh, come on." It was one of those things where it's like, wow, that is so uncharacteristic of Ronnie Brown. You have done a very good job at holding on to the ball in your career in Miami, so I think that's a testament to you. And, it's one of those situations where it was a fluke, and luckily we came out ahead. Looking forward, I wanted to ask you one final question, if I could, and that's about your contract situation. You look around the NFL, and here's a great example if you look out at Vincent Jackson, who was holding out regardless of whether or not he was suspended or not, wants to get traded. You're a guy that you still participated throughout training camp, even though you hadn't signed your tender, and yet this is the final year of your contract, and you're moving along like you've got an 8-year deal in front of you. One of the classiest acts I think I've ever seen from any player in the NFL. What kind of status are you sitting in now? Has there been any progress at all? Have you actually sat down with the team and said, why don't we start talking about a long-term deal here? Have they approached you? Or is this just one of those things where when the season's over, we'll deal with it?
Not really. We haven't really, crossed that bridge yet. Obviously, we're all in the same boat and we're all rowing to go the same way. And, right now our goal is to win football games. And, there's a time and a place for that. But unfortunately for me, I don't feel like I'm in a situation to where, there's going to be a lot that comes on, like that goes, go through with that situation. The best thing for Ronnie Brown right now is to continue to try to play this game at a high level. And, I think at the end of the day, if I do that and continue to do what I need to do and take care of business on the field, then I think, the contract stuff will be taken care of because, realistically, there is a business side to this. And, that's one of those things that I can't control right now. But what I can control is, what I do on the football field and how I prepare for the football games. And, I try not to take any attention away from doing that to put on something that's really out of my control.
I understand that completely. Real quick, when I look at you in particular, you've kind of become the face of this franchise in terms of, Jason Taylor's gone, Zach Thomas is gone. We're still waiting for, we don't have that defensive face yet with a lot of new guys over there. Offensively, it's the same way. But realistically, you are the face of this franchise. Did you ever think that that's the position you would have been in when you were drafted, years ago by Nick Saban?
Not really. I really didn't even think like this far ahead. Obviously, when you get drafted by a team and, especially in the first round, you want to try to spend your career in that city and make a name and, make a name for yourself as far as, making an impact on the football team. But I never really looked at it, in this sense where, I'd be in a contract dispute or, that kind of situation. I just always was focused on what I needed to do as far as improving in this league and making a name for myself and, trying to help this football team win Super Bowls, which is, I think everyone's ultimate goal. And, so I think that's why I don't get affected by a lot of times because I just realize that, there is a business side to it and you have to keep everything in perspective. And I think a lot of times when you take away from preparation and you preparing yourself for a football game and put it on something that you can't control, it kind of takes away from your level of play on the football field.
Very true. Mr. Brown, I appreciate you being on with me tonight, and I know that you've got a lot to do tonight, so I'm not going to keep you. But you've been listening to Ronnie Brown talk to us tonight here on FinFanatic.com and on the Fin side, FinsRadio.net, brought to you by Vizio. Have a great night, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.